Are you considering having an aesthetic procedure performed? Confused by all the information out there? Welcome to It's a Young Thing, where Nurse Paula Young arms you with the knowledge on all things cosmetic and aesthetic. And now, Nurse Paula Young.
Hey everyone, it's Nurse Paula Young from It's a Young Thing. And this week we're going to talk about dermal fillers. This is a really, really popular procedure, probably one of the most popular procedures we do in our medical spa. And, I haven't done dermal fillers until this year. I am 54 and I always wear glasses. And I didn't switch to contacts full time because I liked my glasses. They hid these trenches that were starting on my face. It seemed to run from, the inside corner of my eye down through my cheek, almost like I'm sunken in. And I'm a thin person by nature. So aging really took a toll on my face, more so on the volume of my face, not so much with wrinkles or crow's feet, but sunken in cheeks. I'm like, wow, this is really, disheartening to see this. And so I would hide it with my glasses. And I'm like, all right, it's time. It's time. It was finally time to do something about it. So I had dermal fillers injected in my cheeks. And they're really cool products. There's so many. We talked about them a little bit before in a previous podcast about there's different chemical compositions. They're used in different places on your face. They have different FDA indications for use. Some are for lips, some are for cheeks, some for under the eyes. There's a lot of different places you can use filler. The point is, if it's sunken in or caved in or creased in, a filler can help you out with it. That's pretty much what it's there for. So let's talk about dermal fillers. What are some of the best ways they're used? Well, for me, it was the trenches in my face, but they do help rebuild the loss of bony structure. As we age, believe it or not, you're not going to believe this, but the bone actually kind of breaks down in our face. You have to think of the skin of your face like a mask, and whatever's underneath that mask is going to hold it up. So a lot of the times just using a dermal filler product in the area where your bony structure is, like your cheekbone or your jawbone, you can really lift up sagging face or sagging jowls. It's amazing. Just by going along the bony prominences of the face, you can rebuild that structure. Another great place it's used is in lips. I had said before in a previous podcast that, lips are like tires. They're going to get as full as you want them to be. And one of the best things that we do is fill up smokers' lines. That constant puckering to smoke on a cigarette. Pucker, pucker, pucker. You just kind of build these little hairline lines all the way around your mouth. And if you're a woman and you wear lipstick, what happens to that lipstick? It just starts creeping into those little creases, and they call it feathering. It's not feathering. It's like bleeding into the creases of your lips, all the wrinkles around your mouth. And you know what? You can fix that with dermal filler products. Restylane came out with a product this year just for lips called Restylane Silk. And it's a lovely, smooth product to, trim up the outline of the mouth and fill in those smokers' lines and give nice, fuller, more youthful type of looking lips. Another place you use fillers, they're called the nasal labial folds. Nasal labial folds is that deep line that goes from the corner of your nose down to the corner of your mouth. Usually those things are genetic. If your mom or dad had them, you're going to have them. It kind of runs in the family. And also marionette lines. Now those are the lines that run from the corner of your mouth down to your chin, like a marionette puppet. That's where they came out with the name. And another area is the tear troughs. Now that is what we call dark circles under your eyes. Well, the reason why the circles are dark under your eyes is because you lost all that collagen and all that elastin underneath the skin, and now you can see the vascular bed that's under there. So you know what? It looks dark. So by filling that in with a dermal filler product, you actually plump that up, and it actually lightens the skin, and it looks a lot more youthful and refreshed. Lips, cheeks, jowls, there's a lot of different places you can use fillers. So you have to realize these fillers have different consistencies, from very soft and pliable to more firm and rigid, and they're adapted basically from your body's own chemicals. That was the brainstorm of these dermal fillers, like hyaluronic acid fillers. That got derived from hyaluronic fluid that's in your joints, that lubricates your joints. It's very soft and fluid-like and very pliable. So you got to realize the thicker consistencies are great for the deeper trenches. And some people, you go in for these fillers, I'm not going to lie to you, you, you may need a pre-medication first. It depends on how needle phobic you are. I'm really needle phobic, so I needed to make sure that my face was numbed up ahead of time. And depending on how deep the crease is how deep the injection is going to be. So be prepared for that. So you may want to prepare for some bruising, some swelling. Don't plan on going anywhere immediately afterwards, like or at a big event or a wedding or anything like that. So I have to tell you, I did it. Go on my podcast page on my website. You'll see my before and after photos of my dermal filler. I'm not too shy to show you what I look like beforehand and what I look like afterwards. I think it took years off my life, and I should have honestly done this years ago. I don't know why I waited so long. So that's it for It's a Young Thing this week. I'm Nurse Paula Young. Thanks for joining me. If you know of anybody that might be interested in our podcast here, make sure you share it with them, and we'll talk to you next time.
You've been listening to It's a Young Thing with Nurse Paula Young. If we didn't discuss a topic you're interested in today, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on iTunes so when we do, you don't miss it. The cosmetic aesthetic world can be confusing. We're here to arm you with quality, truthful information from our many years of experience. For even more info, youngmedicalspa.com.
This has been a Steve Mittman social media creation. SteveMittmanSocialMedia.com.
The creators, producers, participants, and distributors of this podcast disclaim any liability in connection with the material expressed herein. This information should not be substituted for individual medical counseling. Information on this podcast is not intended to diagnose or prescribe treatment for any condition. It is intended for educational purposes only, based on the research and experience of Young Medical Spa. Discussion of specific treatments is done only in an office visit directly with the patient. Contact our office to schedule.